No, we share. I said we share. We share.
You share this also. You see?
Hey. Hey.
Share also.
Yes.
Hindi ako yan.
Oy, Bob Marley, we wait for Marley.
Let's make Bob Marley. Yeah, Bob Marley. Yeah, you know.
Hey, I'm going to introduce you to something.
What?
This is my friend, Sirena.
Reyna, yeah. Oh, si Reyna.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. We hide heaven. Not out of heaven.
Apat ang patay matapos makipagbarilan ng mga suspect sa mga pulis sa isang drug raid sa Cebu. Nagpapatrol, Joe Morsky, Alipon.
Nauwi sa madugong inkwentro ang drug raid sa Cebu kaninang umaga. Ihahain sana ng mga otoridad ang isang search warrant sa bahay ni Francisco Arriba at Vicente Hudaya sa Consolacion, Cebu. Nanlaban umano ang mga suspect at nakipagbarilan sa mga pulis.
There's no other means to repel the aggression sa atong tropa, basta shoot back.
Apat ang namatay at 2 ang nahuli. Nakatakas naman si Arriba. Na-recover sa crime scene ang mga pakete ng shabu, mga baril at 3 granada. Ayon sa mga pulis, bukod sa pagbebenta ng shabu, kilala din umano ang grupo ni Arriba bilang gun for hire.
They are actually engaged in gun for hire. Now, they shifted their operations into illegal drugs.
Umaasa naman ang mga residente na sa pagkahuli ng mga sospek, manunumbalik ang katahimikan sa lugar at maibsan ang problema sa illegal na droga.
Sigurado ko nga,
Umaasa si Barangay Captain Roy Ginabuk dahil sa nangyari, magdadalawang isip lang bumalik ang grupo ni Arriba sa kanilang lugar. George Calipon, Patrol ng Pilipino sa Cebu.
What are drugs? This is a term of varied usage. In medicine, it refers to any substance with the potential to prevent or cure disease or enhance physical or mental welfare. In pharmacology, it means any chemical agent that alters the biochemical or physiological processes of tissues or organisms. Categories of drug classification according to RA 6425 of the Philippines. First category, prohibited drug. This includes opium and its active components and derivatives, coca leaf and its derivatives, principally cocaine, alpha and beta-eucaine, hallucinogenic drugs such as mescaline, lysergic acid diethylamide, Indian hemp and its derivatives. The second category, regulated drug. This includes self-inducing sedatives such as secobarbital, phenobarbital, pentobarbital, barbital, and amobarbital. Any other drug which contains a salt or a derivative of a salt of barbituric acid. Any salt, isomer, or salt of an isomer of amphetamine, such as benzedrine, dexedrine, and amphetamine. Hypnotic drugs, such as methaqualone, any other compound producing. Difference between drug misuse and drug abuse. Drug abuse. The person is specifically looking for that euphoric response. A person knows that he will get a pleasant or euphoric feeling by taking the drug, especially at higher doses than prescribed. Drug misuse. Even though these people did not follow medical instructions, they were not looking to get high from the drugs. If a person isn't able to fall asleep after taking a single sleeping pill, they may take another pill an hour later, thinking that will do the job. Here are some terms associated with drug use. First is drug dependence. It is a state of psychic or physical dependence, or both, on a dangerous drug. It arises in a person following administration or use of that drug on a periodic or continuous basis. The second term is tolerance. It is a state in which an organism no longer responds to a drug. A higher dose is required to achieve the same effect. Withdrawal symptoms. These are abnormal physical or psychological features that follow the abrupt discontinuation of a drug that has the capability of producing or leading to physical dependence. How to distinguish people who are under the influence of drugs. First, change in behaviors. Second, sudden swift mood changes. They are easily angered. They are absent from work. They are away from job site. They have inability to explain reasons for doing something. Things turn up missing. And finally, frequent accidents and injuries.
Classifications of drugs according to effect. Narcotic analgesics. They're pain-killing or pain-relieving drugs with opium-like effects. Sources are natural opium, morphine, codeine, semi-synthetic heroin, synthetic buprenorphine, methadone, and pentazocine. Modes of intake. Opium are taken oral or via inhalation, morphine via injection, codeine oral, heroin in injection, inhalation, or chasing, buprenorphine oral or injection. Short-term effects. Euphoria, thought process impairment, drowsiness, apathy, feelings of hunger and pain are not felt. Overdose of heroin can cause convulsions, coma, and death. Long-term effects. Mood instability, reduced libido, constipation, respiratory impairments, and physical deterioration. Withdrawal symptoms. Feeling of unpleasantness, aches and pains all over the body, diarrhea, dilation of pupils, and insomnia. Stimulants. They are drugs which excite or speed up the central nervous system. Different types and modes of intake. Amphetamines taken orally, cocaine, or snorted. Short-term effects. A heightened feeling of well-being or euphoria, a sense of superabundant energy, increased motor and speech activity, suppression of appetite, and increased wakefulness. Long-term effects are chronic sleep problem, poor appetite, rapid and irregular heartbeat, mood swings, amphetamine psychosis may occur. Withdrawal symptoms. Extreme fatigue could be felt, disturbed sleep, voracious appetite, and moderate to severe depression. Depressants. Drugs which depress or slow down the functions of central nervous system. Types and mode of intake. Sedatives, hypnotics, barbiturates, benzodiazepines, and alcohol. Short-term effects are relief from anxiety and tension, euphoria, lowering of inhibitions, poor motor coordination, impaired concentration and judgment, slurred speech and blurred vision, sedation, sleep with larger doses. Long-term effects: depression, chronic fatigue, respiratory impairments, impaired sexual function, decreased attention span, poor memory and judgment, chronic sleep problems. Tolerance and dependence. Tolerance does not develop uniformly. Cross-tolerance can develop. Physical and psychological dependence develop. Withdrawal symptoms. There are tremors, insomnia, irritability and restlessness, hallucinations, convulsions, delirium tremens. Hallucinogens. Hallucinogens are drugs which affect perception, emotions, and mental processes. Types and modes of intake. LSD or lysergic acid diethylamide and PCP, phenylcyclidine, also mescaline and psilocybin. Short-term effects. Alterations of mood, distortion of the sense of direction, distance and time, pseudo-hallucinations, synesthesia or melding of two sensory modalities, and feelings of depersonalization. Long-term effects. Flashback or spontaneous recurrence of an LSD experience can occur. A motivational syndrome, LSD precipitated psychosis. Tolerance and dependence. Tolerance develops rapidly. Withdrawal symptoms are not reported. Cannabis, known as ganja or marijuana, hashish or charas, hashish oil, and bhang. Modes of intake. Via smoking. Short-term effects are mild euphoria, lowering of inhibitions, reddening of eyes, sense of smell, touch and taste are often enhanced, altered sense of time perception, impaired short-term memory, and impairment of ability to perform complex motor tasks. Long-term effects. Decreased cognitive ability, a motivational syndrome, psychosis, respiratory problems, sterility or impotence, and in women abusers, fetal damage can occur. Withdrawal symptoms are sleep disturbances, loss of appetite, irritability, tremors, depression or psychotic symptoms may become prominent. Volatile solvents. Drugs under this category are volatile hydrocarbons and petroleum derivatives. Types and modes of intake. Glue and solvents like varnish and eraser fluids and petrol through sniffing. Short-term effects are euphoria, clouded thinking, slurred speech, staggering gait, hallucinations, or sudden death. Long-term effects are psychosis, permanent brain damage, liver, kidney, and heart damage. Other drugs of abuse. These drugs are taken orally as tablets or used in the form of injections. The effects and subsequent dependence and withdrawal symptoms vary. Medically used drugs that do not fall into any of the above categories. muscle painkillers, antihistamines prescribed for allergies, antiemetics, antidepressants, or antipsychotics. Damage due to addiction. Irrespective of the drug abused, addiction leads to physical deterioration, psychiatric problems, and intellectual impairment. Personality deterioration, increased risk of accidents, and higher susceptibility to high-risk behavior in the form of unprotected sex or use of unsterile needles. Legal risks.
Hi, my name's Dr. Anna McCarthy. I'm a licensed psychologist, and I'm going to answer some questions about what happens in individual therapy sessions. In a typical initial session, after limits to confidentiality and mandated reporting issues have been explained to the client, we do a thorough evaluation of the client's medical and health issues, psychiatric symptoms, social stresses, past stresses and traumas, the impact or the quality of family relationships, assessing clients' strengths and weaknesses. We try and do a thorough holistic evaluation so that we get a clear picture of what has contributed to the client having mental health issues and substance-related disorders. After we've done a thorough evaluation and have a clear understanding of the client's issues, we develop a treatment plan so that we can set specific goals for the client to attain. Short-term goals might include things like identifying triggers for relapsing. It might include helping the client to develop coping skills so they can cope with negative emotions, bad feelings such as depression or anxiety. It might include stabilizing the client on medication if the client's choosing to take medication and there's medication that would help the client's issue. It might include things like improving the client's communication and social skills. In addition, we want to have some expectations, some long-term treatment goals. Those might include things like setting up appointments with psychiatrists and psychologists at the client's place of residence, finding a sponsor and finding 12-step meetings that the client can attend, securing stable and safe living environment and employment, and in general, trying to incorporate the client's value system back into their life so that they have an overall improved sense of satisfaction with their life. Another integral part of individual therapy is discharge planning, so that the client leaves a residential setting with a clear plan in place that offers them support and safety as they continue their path to recovery. I hope this has answered some of your questions about what individual therapy might entail. Thank you.
For more information on substance abuse and dual diagnosis treatment, please call us toll-free at 888-300-3210 or visit us on the web at miramarrecovery.com.
Good afternoon to everyone. I'm Sandy Vidayan with my groupmates here, and we have here Kuya Roy Andrada to give his testimony about past experiences of about drugs. You know, guys. So here we go. So, Kuya.
Hello, my name is Roy Andrada at konting background lang. Kaya ako na-involved sa drugs before. Okay na. Isensya na. Nung 11 years old ako, nag-separate yung parents ko. So, growing up, nakaranas ako ng rejection dahil sa tuwing pupunta kami sa nanay ko, parang ayaw sa amin ng mga kamag-anak namin. Sa tuwing pupunta naman ako sa side ng tatay ko, parang ayaw din ng kamag-anak namin sa amin magkapatid. So ngayon, no, parang nagganap ako ng sense of belongingness, parang gano'n, na hindi ko makita sa pamilya ko dahil puro rejection niya. So at that time, yung tatay ko napunta siya sa Pasay, no? Doon siya nagtatrabaho, at the same time meron rin siyang sideline ron, no? So namulat na ako sa lifestyle ng drugs kasi doon sa area na yon puro drugs nga, no? Yung ginagawa, inaatupag. Tapos nung pag-uwi ko ng Baguio, nung nandirito na ako, marami ring mga kaibigan ko na nakilala ko rin sa kalsada na involved din sa drugs. So yun, no. That time 13 yung pinaka-unang beses kong na-involve, no, sa drugs, nakatry, no. Tapos yun rin yung time, no, yun rin yung age na na-involve ako sa gang, 13 years old, hanggang sa parang parang pastime. Sige, subukan lang natin. Parang masarap maglaro ng PlayStation pagka nakagamit. Masarap pumasok ng school, masarap pakinig ng sounds pagka nakagamit. Iba yung tama, no? Parang gano'n, no? Tapos habang lumalaki ako habang tumatanda pala, tumataas rin yung nagiging dosage ng paggamit ko. So hindi ko na namamalayan, nasosobrahan ko na. Yun, dumarating na sa point na nasasagot ko na yung nanay ko pagka hindi ako nakatake, no? Mainit yung ulo ko, irritable. Ayokong kinakausap ako kapag hindi ako nakagamit, no? Nung time na yun, weed. Tapos biglang na-introduce sa akin yung shabu na tinatawag. Siyempre, curious nga, trinay ko din. Yan, nung naramdaman ko yung tama, okay to hanggang darating sa time na gagawa na namin ng paraan bilang magbabarkada, yung gagawa namin ng paraan para makakuha kami ng panggamit, no. Darating na sa mga hold up, darating na sa akyat bahay, no. So grabe na, to the extent na talagang sirang-sira na yung buhay namin, sirang-sira na yung pangalan namin, no, sa lugar namin, sa mga magulang namin, no, dahil sa drugs. So one time, nung 2013, no, nung natuto na ako kung paano magpalakad ng drugs, ako na rin mismo nag-handle. Hindi ko naman siya kailangan i-boast, no. Actually nakakahiya nga, pero para lang sa purpose ng ng project, konti lang yung babahagi ko. So nung time na yon, trinay ko kumuha ng consignment. Yung consignment kasi, kukunin mo ngayon, babayaran mo next pagka nabenta mo. So ganun yung ginagawa ko. At the same time, nagtatabi na rin ako ng gamit ko, pang sariling gamit. Yung tinatawag namin na PSG, no? Pag alam niyo ng mga gumagamit din, yung may PSG, pang sariling gamit. So yun, natuto ko kung paano magbenta, gano'n, natuto magpalakad. Tapos biglang yung kaibigan ko, yung best friend ko, no, na matagal kong di nakita, kababata ko kasi yun, no, in-invite niya ako sa church. Ayun, sabi ko, kalokohan, anong gagawin ko dyan? Ayun nga. Tapos nagulat ako sa kanya, ayaw niya na mag-drugs, no. Parang, ano nangyari dito? Parang, nabaliw na yata, sabi ko. Siya pa yung nabaliw. Saturday yun, nung pinuntahan niya ako sa bahay. Tapos, kwento siya ng kwento ng kung anong ginagawa niya sa church. Tapos kung sino yung mga taong nasa church. Ngayon, nakwento niya sa akin na yung leader ng isang gang, no, na kasama namin yan sa church, ay nandun daw. So hindi ako naniniwala kasi lumalaki ako, nakikita ko yung leader ng gang na yun na talagang notorious. Gusto ko rin maging kagaya niya nun. Pero na-curious ako. Tapos kinabukasan nun, Sunday, parang may conviction ako na kailangan kong umattend ng church. So pinagbigyan ko siya. Yun, naging turning point no, nung buhay ko, nung tinanggap ko si Jesus sa buhay ko. Wala na ring nawala ng puwang yung kasalanan sa akin, natakot na akong mag-drugs. Natakot na akong gumawa ng kung ano-ano, no. Tapos, syempre, nag-decide ako na ma-encounter pa, makilala pa ng lalo si God. Nung nakapag-encounter ako, 3 days retreat yun, nakilala ko pa kung sino talaga si God. Doon na-open yung isip ko, no, tungkol sa mga ginawa ko nun. Nang dahil pala sa drugs, ang daming naging delay sa buhay ko. Nang dahil rin doon, marami akong nasirang buhay ng mga kaibigan ko, buhay ng mga nabentahan namin, buhay ng mga ninakawan namin para makadrugs kami. So, bottom line, walang itutulot na maganda yung drugs, no? Mas magandang mahay ka sa Panginoon kaysa sa drugs. So yun.
Naman.
Praise God talaga sa ginawa niya. Kasi sa totoo lang, hindi ko matitigilan yung pagdra-drugs. 3 lang pupuntahan ko malinaw. Makukulong ako, mamamatay ako, marirehab dahil sa kakadrugs. Pero dahil nung nakilala ko si Jesus, no, nung tinanggap ko siya, nung kinonfess ko na makasalanan ng takot, sinorender ko yung buhay ko, binigyan niya ako ng bagong buhay. Wow, grabe, di ba? Praise God, no? Yun lang, nagpunta ko 13. Burn, ang tawag namin doon. Burn again kami ng mga panahon.
Burn again.
13 to 17. Nung 17, nag-shift kami. El Shabu na kami nun. Oo, yun. So 17 hanggang mix. So yung dalawang tas alcohol. Haluan namin ng alcohol. Hanggang last 2013. 2013.
That's the end.
Oh, yun na. December nung sinuko ko na talaga yung buhay ko. Sinabi kong hindi na ako gagamit.
Kaya mahirap yung withdrawal syndrome, yung withdrawal yun.
Praise God, hindi naman. Hindi ako nakaranas ng kahit anong withdrawal.
Amen.
Amen talaga. Galing ng God, no? Yung iba nga sinasabi, baka naman nag-withdrawal ka dahan-dahan. Pero hindi. Maraming makakapag-testify na hindi ako dumaan ng withdrawal.
Binigay ko sa inyo.
Yung mga kasama ko rin na nandun, na na-involved din sa drugs, hindi rin nakaranas. Ganon kagaling si God. Kaya niyang higutin na ganon.
What makes some of us turn to drugs? And why can some people stop while others become addicted?
I thought, sure, I'll do it if you're doing it.
Everyone was telling me, like, Kat, you're so boring. And that kind of sucks to hear from your friends.
You don't know what to do, but you want to fit in. I thought to myself, well, they're still getting straight A's. Shouldn't change anything. And it didn't, at first.
Addiction runs in my family, so I should have known better.
They say it's not addicting, but smoking every day the last year, so...
All of a sudden you're taking them on a Tuesday night to go to sleep.
I never expected something like this to happen to me.
I mean, I remember waking up one morning and looking at myself in the mirror. I had nothing. I didn't have my friends, my family, my girlfriend had left me. I had nothing. My name's JT Daly, and I used to be a drug addict. When I was 13 years old, I first started smoking weed. From there, I went to drinking alcohol. Once I got to high school, I was partying almost every weekend and almost every day, which then eventually led to my cocaine addiction. Fell in and out of rehab, was arrested 5 times, until finally my friends and family helped me to realize that I needed to check myself. Now, I'm an intervention leader and help thousands of kids learn the truth about drugs. I know firsthand how drugs and alcohol can affect you, your friends, your family. Over the next few minutes, you'll witness stories about people who have been affected by drugs and alcohol. Students, athletes, musicians, all of these people have one thing in common: addiction. You might think you're on top of it all, but these stories show that things can quickly spiral out of control.
My brother got me stoned for the first time when I was 12.
My father was an alcoholic. His father was an alcoholic. I didn't really want to go that route.
We'd go to the dugout and smoke up during lunch break and come back and just coast.
I started out, you know, early in high school drinking, you know, maybe a beer or two at a party, you know, just to take that edge off.
I was making some A's, making some B's, but, you know, it was pretty easy because I would just sit in the back and then look over at my friends or the girl next to me, whatever. I'd be stoned in the outfield and a ball would come at me. And let's just say I wasn't as good as I once was.
It was spring break and me and my buddy was throwing this huge bass. We was running out of liquor. They was pretty messed up. I was kind of messed up, so I decided to drive. I thought it was an okay idea. The cops didn't really see it as an okay idea. Ended up getting arrested, got a DUI, got kicked off the football team. It's just like that one moment, like everything just went downhill.
Drugs don't discriminate. They affect everybody. This is Jessica. A friend introduced her to weed at age 11.
I am a heroin addict.
Jessica was a truly beautiful little girl, but for some reason she was shy.
You know, the other kids are hanging out with their friends and stuff for the weekend, and I spend the weekend with my grandpa.
Jessica was my little princess. She still is my little princess.
Weed made me, I guess, feel more comfortable, and it kind of made me want to stay out later and party and, you know, get high with the boys. The guy that got me pregnant didn't want me to tell my parents. He kept telling me, I have money, I'll pay for the abortion, and, you know, weeks, even a couple of months went by, you know, of him telling me that same thing. I loved the high. It took away, I guess, everything. Took away feeling. I didn't have to think about anything.
I'm definitely a 100% enabler with Jessica. You know, I'm probably the, you know, I have $1 on me, it's hers.
I guess why stop when there's nothing to live for?
Drugs allowed me to make more friends, and eventually when I got into selling drugs, it made me more popular. People wanted to be around me. Eventually, I knew that these friends that I was hanging out with weren't true friends. They didn't care about me.
I guess I always felt like an outsider. Couldn't relate to any other girls. I was just sort of this tomboy. I was wearing my brother's hand-me-downs. You know, I kind of fell into a group of people at school, and on the weekends we'd all chip in and get really messed up. I started stealing pills from my dad, like the painkillers. There was a couple of really, really bad close calls, and no one ever called an ambulance, ever. It happened to me. They put a pillow under my head and hope for the best.
Just because a drug is legal doesn't mean it can't be dangerous, addictive, and open doors to abuse and destruction. This is Ryan. He was exposed to drugs and alcohol at an early age. Both his father and stepfather suffer from addiction, and that's a powerful risk factor.
I'm addicted to opiates.
It's pretty much the only reason for living. You really can't do anything without it.
I don't know this person. It's not my son. When I had Ryan, I instantly just fell in love with him. We probably, from the outside, looked like a very normal, functioning family, but at home, there was a lot of dysfunction going on.
I am an alcoholic.
He would get into ridiculous fights with Ryan over, you know, such silly things when he had been drinking, and Ryan didn't know how to handle it.
I know me being an alcoholic has had an effect on Ryan over the years.
Once I started smoking, I actually was high every day. I found some other people who liked it too, and right off the bat, it was a beautiful relationship.
Admitting failure is hard at that age, I think, and that's when he started to party a lot more.
Some of my close friends who I really looked up to were experimenting with the stuff, so I jumped on board.
It's never enough, camera audience. It's never enough. Never, ever enough, I tell ya. If I killed myself on overdosing, it still probably wouldn't be satisfying. It's never enough.
The pressure young people face is intense. The inability to cope with emotions and experiences that are overwhelming is a common risk factor for drug abuse and addiction. I started using drugs and alcohol because of all my failures in life. Failing out of school, getting cut from the basketball team, losing girlfriends. What I found to be successful are goals. Setting goals in your life and constantly trying to achieve these goals. Problems are good. It keeps us going in life. Obstacles and goals keeps us going in life. And when a person doesn't have any goals or dreams or aspirations, they're hopeless and apathetic about life.
Now I'm chill with the same friends who I smoked out with in the dugout, and you know, we pretty much just stay at home and sit on the couch and get high all day. I mean, I am trying to get into college. I've been trying to get into college for a long time.
I finally got busted in gym class. I dropped a Ziploc bag of pills. They helped me get into a rehab center. And when I first got out, a lot of people I was hanging out with before, were trying to contact me and see if I was going to get back in. And I realize now that those people are not my friends.
I'm going to AA now, me and my father, together. It's kind of helping our relationship get better.
It is not easy. Every day is a struggle. But I feel like I'm moving away from my past and into my future.
Please make time to check yourself and your friends. And if you think you have a problem or you are in trouble, talk to someone you trust, a parent, a friend, a coach, or a teacher. Having someone there for you can really help. Messing with drugs is gambling with your life, and it's a losing bet. So keep yourself in check or risk getting wrecked.
Family life was very lacking. I don't remember much of it because I think I spent a lot of time blocking a lot of it out. Been technically on my own since I was like 10. When I was 13, I got emancipated because it was more lucrative for my father. Yeah, so I had to find work. So I had somebody that that was like a father figure to me, but he was also a bookie, and I ran numbers for him. People wouldn't always pay their debts, and so I would go with him, and we would get our money any means possible. It got to a point where beating somebody up was as easy as breathing, really. And because you lose you're numb to it. You get numb to it over time. It's no big deal. I ended up selling cars, and I was really good at that because I'm a master manipulator anyways, at that point in my life, because you had to be if you're on the streets or this or that, you did what you had to do to survive no matter what. And at that point, I had met somebody, I got married, and I have 2 beautiful, beautiful children. Life was just kind of going along, we had the big house, nice car. I had some back problems, and I went to the doctor. I started taking pain medication, and yeah, I'm an extremist. I don't do anything halfway. And man, once I got that feeling, I did them all, and then some. As time went on, I lost my house. My significant other at that time, she ended up moving up to Wairika. So at this point, I have Nothing left. Not even pictures, not even clothes, not even, and then I wasn't seeing the kids at all, so then I started smoking dope, meth. It covered the pain, you know. At that point, I picked up dealing. I found Clay Street, and it was right up my alley for what I needed to do over there, and, you know, so I was there for a long time, and, you know, it got to a point where, you know, nothing really happened in that neighborhood without me knowing about or being okay with it. Ran into Bethel, you know, the students were in that neighborhood, so I'd be running drugs all day long, you know, most of the night, but for a good 2-3 hours, I'd end up over at the student's house, and there was, didn't matter to them, you know, just didn't matter to them that what I was doing, they loved me fiercely, you know. Real fiercely. So then I tried to go to church with them, and yeah, I couldn't even sit through a worship service without just bawling. I would have to get up and leave. I had lost all hope that nothing was ever going to change, that I'd never see my children again, that I would never have anything again. So I had actually tried to stop doing drugs, you know, and I couldn't do it. But they didn't condemn me either. They still loved me. And at that point, you know, I had actually, because of them, I'd actually started going to my court dates. And I got, I got sentenced. They told me that I was going to go to state prison. And and I got remanded right there, you know, so in other words, I got taken into custody. So I was sitting in holding cell. I said, I told God, I said, you drive, I'll ride, whatever you say goes. And at that point, I gave everything. I gave everything over to him. I just let him take control. And I asked Jesus just to come and just be with me. And within 10 minutes, I got sober. And I never had a withdrawal from any kind of drug. Smoked for 22 years, not even a craving for a cigarette. I remember sitting on my flat, my bed, and I asked the Holy Spirit just to come and tell me what's next. And we started a Bible study. That was pretty much what, it just kind of all fell into place. And it ended up being so big that for the last 45 minutes before lights out, they would open both tiers so everybody could come out to Bible study. So those Bible studies were pretty powerful. People were getting saved. People were getting just healed of things. To see these men they're broken, and just, you know, these tough guys just break down and go, wow, you know, what a big God. Finally, I got sent off to high desert, and yeah, that was, I wasn't scared. I actually remember when we pulled up and getting out, we were at the gate. First time I've ever seen, you know, 12-foot high fences with razor sharp barbed wire all through it. And I looked at it and laughed and was excited to be there, because I knew that God wouldn't be sending me there unless he had something for me to do. I ended up spending so much time with God that I would literally feel the Holy Spirit walk next to me and whisper things in my ears. And about people, for myself. And we had a chapel in there that I volunteered at, and I ended up having a lot of favor with inmates and COs, because everything that I said that I was, I walked the walk and talked the talk. I didn't stray from it. And so I did, I taught Celebrate Recovery. I was the head for NAAA, and then another program called CROP, which is Conflict Resolution Option for Peace program. I didn't have anybody on the outside here, so I didn't have anybody sending me packages in or putting money on my books. But you know what? I never wanted for anything. I always had food. I always had hygiene. I always had this and that. So as I was getting out, I had no idea where I was going to go. I got out on a Saturday, and I couldn't wait to go to church on Sunday. And I went to Twin View, and I just wept. Somebody came up to me and gave me a painting, a prophetic art painting, after the service that was a sun coming up. This is a new dawn of a new day. I started volunteering as security, doing security there, and just absorbing everything that was around me. About 3 months ago, I had to sit down with the guy that does the hiring for security. Within a day, I did paperwork and they hired me on. At this point in my life, you know, I'm about to marry the most incredible woman in my life that I've ever met in my life. She loves my heart the way it needs to be loved. I've waited my whole life for a love like this. Now, you know, because our God is a God of restoration and reconciliation, that I can go see my children whenever I want to. And I actually have a good friendship. Me and my ex-wife, we have a workable relationship, a talkable relationship. What I want to see is just the most unwanted wanted again. I want to be that face that they reach out to help them really receive the Father's love. You know, Isaiah 61:7 that says that your shame will be replaced with double honor. And I experience that on a daily basis. Doesn't matter where you've been, doesn't matter what you've done. You know what? If you take one step forward, he'll come running. Because I'm living proof that the worst of the worst can become the best of the best.
Hey dude, hey. Psst. Psst. Let's talk about drug prevention. Drug prevention? Yes. See, I took my friend here so she will take a video. Tell the world about drug prevention. Why me? Because I think you can help me, man. So, let's talk about drug prevention. Drug prevention. Okay. How do you prevent drugs, you say? So of course it starts with kids who are interested with drugs and their parents guiding them. You know, we could prevent drug abuse, drug addiction when parents kick in. And so, do you mean like tell the kids what happens? Just like when they use tobacco or alcohol, you know, they do like, funny things. Like influence their kids. Yeah, be role models. And parents could tell the kids that this is not good. Go get that bottle. Go get it. Come on, get that bottle. Quick. Because you see, drug prevention, like I said, starts with parents. And if your parents drink this in front of you, that's not good. They should tell you this isn't good for you. They shouldn't tell you to drink this or do other stuff connected to it, because that would be the same as letting you use drugs. What if I drink it? If you drink it, it would be your choice. But me, as your parent, when our parents are not here, I tell you no. Preventing you from getting in contact with drugs or getting addicted to it. But you're not my parent. You're just my older sister. Exactly. I'm your parent without the parents. I love you, man. I'm not gonna hug you. Okay, so other stuff we could do to prevent drugs or drug addiction, of course, drug use. Of course, like in school, right? You have your, what do you call this? Health education. They teach you what drug is, other types of drugs, like your hallucinogens, your barbiturates and stuff. Also the caffeine, cocaine, whatever you call those. Yeah, sure. And like, I think I've heard those terms. Like what do you call this? tell you what happens to you after, like long-term effects, like you forget things, you always stare, and actually you're not thinking of anything, but you say, I'm thinking, and then later you hear God's voice and bad things happen. But well, yeah, that's our other things to prevent drug use for kids. Now for us adults, of course, like us, us adults, we can do like, wait, let me find my research about that. There, found it. There are like 5 top things to do to prevent drugs, You should find healthy ways to get yourself out of stress. Because, you see, many people who use drugs are always tense, they're stressed, they have problems. So they think drugs is an immediate escape, just like this. They get drunk, or they smoke, or they inject themselves with stuff, and they have the temporary happiness. But what happens next? Nothing. It goes back again. Don't do that. All the problems go back, and sometimes they become bigger because of that drugs, right? So now we can prevent it by having hobbies, or do exercise when you're tense. You jog, you run everywhere to let off steam. Then later you could think better.
That is tiring. Why can't I just do the drugs, man? Just
If you do the drugs, it'll tire you later too. It'll tire you in the other way. It could make you sick. It could make you cancer. Damage the brain, man. You can even hurt people in your own.
See, healthy lifestyle, right? Makes you happy. I mean, you do things you want to do, things you're happy with, that also helps you improve yourself. Just like, it's your job. You're doing a job, you also have hobbies, right? And you have family. You can balance all your time without having to prioritize one thing at the moment, like do work, and then later you forgot family, and all family is gone because you're all work, and then you get frustrated because which one to go next, which one to do first, because they're all gone. So so to have a happy lifestyle, you don't have to be into drugs because of frustration of any complications with these. Balance your time with them and do the things you're happy about. Yeah.
That's some good advice.
We go to number 4. Now number 4 is for you to have those important things to you, things you love, close to you. It's like your family. You keep them close. Or friends. Like this thing, let's say this laptop, your phone, your phone again, or anything or anyone or your pet that's close to you, that's important to you, you love it, you keep them close. They'll act like your inspiration, that you need to live your life to the fullest, you need to live your life well.
And not get wasted in drugs.
Yes, that's one good way to get yourself out of drugs. You don't have to use drugs because, you see, they're these to keep me happy, they give me comfort, they can console me when I need them. That's another good way to prevent drugs.
Like to be content too with what you have.
Also, to find the right friends.
Right friends.
Yes.
Is that the 5th top secret?
No, that's part of 4.
Okay, so like
the 5th is kind of...
Wait a minute.
What?
So like, to get the right type of friends, do you mean by, not to get in fraternities or something? When the bad influences.
Yes. You don't go to bad influential people because they're the ones who are likely to get you to go to drugs.
Yeah.
So the right friends who give you the right environment to be a good person, to be drug-free, are those people who care for you the way you care for them.
Nice. That's really good advice. Okay, so what's the 5th?
Oh, the 5th thing is to be aware of your family's history of substance abuse. If you see, if once in your family there was one or at least one who was once an addict or abused drugs, it's also more likely for you to be addicted too, because addiction or abuse of substance is actually also kind of genetic.
Genetic. So
yes.
like I could inherit it? Something?
it's like it runs in the bloodline that you could also get into addiction like them.
Okay, so like, even before I'm born, I might like, crave for that kind
Not
of thing.
really, no. I mean, example for me, I was once an addict.
Okay.
Yeah? And there's also a big chance that when you use drugs too, you could be an addict to yourself.
Okay.
So that means you should take more precaution, extra precaution from drugs. So all the more that you need to be surrounded by positive people, you do things you like more often, and refrain from getting stressed. That's when you do balancing of all things you love.
Okay, like balance the things I do and
Yeah.
balance my time and how I
Yeah.
my daily life.
Yes.
Okay.